Today we have a very, very, very special guest joining us remotely from Hell's Kitchen. Everybody, please give a warm, warm bottom welcome to Xavier Blanco. Hey!
I'm ready for the next segment. I'm ready to talk about the big question that a lot of the girls in our community
Want to know.
face and pose to themselves.
Should I start an OnlyFans?
And we have
No. No.
Wait,
Get the fuck off OnlyFans. Stop making OnlyFans a thing. Let the girls that are already doing it do their thing. Do not get on OnlyFans. It's not quick money. It's not easy money. You're going to be broke and then a little hoe, and then it's going to chase you down when you're 70 years old, and you're going to be dumb pissed because you did it for $5.
period. Okay. So I think
I'm
that's
so
the end of the
confused.
episode. Thank you very much, Xavier.
Wait, I'm not doing it because I'm going to be a dumb, stupid 7-year-old? That's part of the plan. You're going to have to give me another reason, mama.
What, a stupid broke 70-year-old? Who wants that?
That was a part of the plan. That's why I'm trying to start this.
An incontinent broke stupid
But the hair will be laid.
70-year-old.
And I saw on the internet the girls are getting $150 average on
Okay.
OnlyFans. That's going to get me.
That is something that I had a question about, is basically the percentage, like the percentile model. Like, can you explain how the girls are even calculating that, what that means, and like how much money that is?
That percentile thing is very ambiguous, sort of say, because you can really like kind of like fuck around with it. If you have a free OnlyFans and you have 20,000 followers on there, subscribers, quote unquote subscribers, you can get to that 1%, because OnlyFans is reading the way that they're tallying this is like how many subscribers you have compared to the others. So if you have a free one, you can say like, oh, I have all these subscribers, and it looks like you have a high engagement. So that's part of like also like the tease of it. Some people also just lie about their percentage.
Not lying on your pussy.
There is also the real 1%ers out there that are bringing in about $30,000-$40,000 a month and plus.
No, I know that you talked about this briefly before, but like one of the other reasons was that how do you feel about there being like a racial bias in like adult content creators as far as what they want to see and as far as who makes the majority of that top 1%?
I think my answer will be a little different from what people would expect, because I feel like when we talk about racism and when we talk about racism within the adult content creation industry, like we have used these like studios as kind of like scapegoats to be like, you're not hiring black and brown people, blah, 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 and you blaming them. And then, but now what we're seeing with content creation, with OnlyFans, is that a lot of the top 1% that are truly making all this money are white people. And then for me, I'm like, that's not a studio. That's actually us. They're possibly mostly black and brown people that are subscribing to these platforms are picking the white models instead of picking the black and brown models. But we use like the studios as kind of like the scapegoat, like, oh, it's your fault because you're not promoting us, you're not doing this. But now
Which they were, to be fair, there was that going on with the studios.
There was, but then at the same time, like now look at this other part of it, and it's like the studios were doing what they had to do to make money.
Yeah.
And it's showing on OnlyFans because the subscribers that are subscribing to these platforms are subscribing to the blonde hair, blue eyes, muscly white boys that look a certain way, and that's what they want to see. So were the studios really wrong for being a business? For me, like sometimes I get bored and I look through people's like following lists, like who they're following.
Yes,
And black and brown people are mostly following these fucking little white boys, but then want to be the same people that say, oh my God, nobody's subscribing to my platform, all this, all that. Like these like white boys are taking up my money, but it's like, but you're creating space for them. You're filming with them, you're paying for their platforms, you're being a part of their community, and
you're adding to their algorithm, you're pushing their content.
You know, like if I look through my Explorer page and it's filled with puppies and white men, it means that I'm telling Instagram, these are the things that I'm looking at, and these are the things that I want to see, and these are the things that I'm following, and these are the things that I'm interacting with. We can't sit here and say like the studios are wrong and these white people are wrong when we're doing the same exact things.
Yeah, it is.
So
It's interesting. I think a lot of people with issues of race and other issues tend to look outward rather than sort of like looking at themselves and looking at their own behavior. Because, I mean, you're almost asking the studios to fix,
yeah,
a much bigger issue in our society, which is like the idea of white supremacy, right? Like the fact that the standard of beauty that we have created specifically like in this country and society at large is very,
European white.
yeah, based
Yeah.
on like Eurocentric features and standards about like who gets to be pretty and beautiful and sexy.
Yeah.
And so
Like
it,
like even the thought like when was trying to do drag, I'm not gonna call myself a drag queen. I was like, why do I need to pinch my nose? I was like, I have a black nose. What's
is
wrong
that a
with my
consideration?
Well, if you watch tutorials, they're like, you want to pinch that nose. I'm like, for
Mm.
what?
I really want to pinch my nose.
On the sides of the nose, just to kind of pinch that in just a little bit.
Something about a tiny pinched bitchy nose that says, I'm here to f your life.
as a makeup artist, I can tell you when you're contouring your face, the face that we usually look at to be like that you want to get is that slim face, but it usually references a Caucasian individual.
Yeah.
I have noticed just because I've seen some of your content that you've made, that you have collaborated like with a lot of other white like adult film creators, and I'm wondering what the priorities are for you when you're selecting like who you're going to collaborate with. Like if it's about who you have the most sort of sexual chemistry with, or are you thinking from a business mindset like, oh, this person has the most reach, this could in turn like make me the most money?
I feel like it's a two-parted question because like Xavier Blanco when I first started in 2019 is a very different person from Xavier Blanco now in 2024, which is a big reason why I haven't put up so much content recently. Like it's been a lot of more solos. My exposure on social media was very driven by white people. Like I was working at white parties, I was working along white individuals. Like that was like my friend group. So all I really saw on my Twitter was these white content creators. And it wasn't until I would say September of last year that I actually even noticed it. And it's when I started to actually like kind of see these other like aspects of like me yelling to the open space about white content creators and like why are they making so much money and seeing like wait, I'm part of this issue. So since September I've really actually actively tried to not only work with more black and brown people but actually start following more black and brown people. Like I need to have actually more of a relationship with the black and brown community within the adult entertainment industry, and I don't, and I'm trying to like really improve on that and really like reach out to people like Max Connor, Bo Jackman, Raheem, and like really cultivate relationships the same way that I have with Morgan, Austin Wolf, I'm forgetting other people. I was gonna say Jason, but he's Asian. But have those same relationships that I have with these white content creators, have them with my own community.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I mean, we have to like work within our own selves to like make change. It starts with us, like from like a first person point of view. I think my next question is, I know that I've been following you for a while, Instagram and shit. You've made at least 2 accounts that I know of. In the articles that I was reading for this interview, not a lot of people, but it's been brought up that even Instagram and certain social media platforms have certain racial biases or tendencies to shadow ban, delete content, block people. I know that you've been shadow banned before. How has that like played into your business as a sex worker, and more or less like what needs to change in order so your content, which is a lot like anybody else's content, doesn't get removed versus a white counterpart who's doing the same exact thing, if not something more risque, and not getting content banned?
I feel like when I was being shadow banned is because I was doing silly, stupid things like showing things that I shouldn't be showing. I feel like there was a big moment with Instagram itself that it was allowing certain type of individuals to get away with certain things that others couldn't. But we're kind of coming into a place where I feel like they're trying to just take away sex work in general. So there's no longer like it matters who you are. We actually just don't want this on the platform.
That's interesting. Has it like,
So
what's the like the new change? 'Cause I know that I even experienced like there's been a big decrease of like all the people that I follow on X or Twitter or whatever you call it. Like, where do you go now to like really brand and your business or promote yourself?
sex workers are kind of like we're kind of like nomads. Like we don't really have a home when it comes to social media. So it constantly keeps moving. Like for a moment it was TikTok. The other time it was like X. Then it's Instagram. So it's like it's kind of like whoever is going to like accept us and allow us because like you can pump out the content, but if the algorithm is not in your favor, it's not in your favor. Instagram is definitely making it a point like we're not going to promote your stuff. You can post it, your friends can reshare it if they want, but we're not going to promote it.
I mean, it's really wild to me how stigmatized sex work still is. I kind of want to circle back to something you said, how you were so strongly against anyone else getting into the same line of work that you're in. For the reasons that you named, very
Yeah.
valid. I'm curious about if this is still working, if it's still working for you.
Well, I've like some people think I lie about this, and like my family knows that I'm a sex worker, but since I was a very little boy, I've always wanted to do this. I've always like back in that time because I didn't think I can do it as a man. I just always picture myself with blonde hair, long, beautiful blonde hair, big old boobs, and like selling my body. Like I always found individuals like Pamela Anderson and Jenna Jameson just sexy and powerful. And watching movies like Pretty Woman, Showgirl, Gia, like I just always thought like, wow, like how incredible is that? Literally, like right after this, I'm going to a client's house to massage them, and they want to spend basically that time with me because of who I am and what I look like and what I can like give them and make them feel like. So the reason I say to people like don't do OnlyFans is because I feel like for the rest of my life, Xavier Blanco will always forever be attached to me. So once I graduate and become an accountant and I'm getting clients and I'm doing this, I know for a fact that I will be missing out from opportunities. It's happening already to me because being a sex worker and being in the nightlife industry, but I'm okay with that because I wanted this since I was a little kid. Like it's a little heartbreaking when I see certain people try to leave, adult film and like this industry, and they're let down because they're like, "Oh my God, I thought I deleted everything." It's like, babe, we live in a world now that everything is saved.
Yeah, you
Like,
didn't.
yeah, you didn't
You
delete
can't.
You can't take that back.
I'm so
baby.
sorry, my dear.
Beyonce is one of the few individuals on this world that can truly like make anything disappear on the internet.
Beyonce,
Beyonce.
you know what? You're right. You
But
never see her. You never see her tizzy, dizzy, or out of it.
like
That's
anything
true.
that starts up about her that's negative, like
She kills them.
Shut it down.
They get
yeah,
murdered.
you're never gonna see it again. People don't talk about it, but as normal human beings, we don't have that luxury. So it's like when people say like, "Oh, I want to do this now," and it's like this is not a now decision. This is not like I'm gonna take tennis for the weekend and I think I want to become a tennis player. This is a decision that you're making that's gonna affect you for the rest of your life. You're gonna be 70 years old and you're gonna come across an opportunity, and there might be a chance that opportunity is taken away because they
Because I
found
was
you.
a sex
Like-
worker at 35. Are you shitting me? I would, and that's how people end up in jail. I'm gonna put it that way. that would be the absolute straw that breaks whatever camel's back. If I'm 70 years old trying to get myself in the door at Red Door at any fucking restaurant, I won't be doing that.
So
I'm
there
not
is
struggling.
evidence of you
Yeah.
popped your pussy back in
There was evidence of you
2020.
passing around that tight whack ass. I'm just kidding.
that
Wait.
broken.
That broken. Wait, before you leave, because we only have you for 5 more minutes. It's been 4 years that you've been sober now, right?
3.5.
3.5. Okay. Well, I'm putting it out there 4 years.
Thank you, baby. Put it because I want it.
You're doing
Yes,
it. I'm proud of
ma'am.
you. I know that I saw that you put your cursor by. Did you want to ask the question?
Oh, yeah. at least in New York, I think drugs and sex oftentimes go hand in hand for a lot of people. And has that ever come up as an issue in your line of work? Has it ever threatened your sobriety?
I'm very vocal about my sobriety on social media. Like I'm either talking about my sobriety or my hole. Like it's either or. Like those are my two most important things in my life: my booty hole and my sobriety. And the question, and that question does come up a lot, specifically from people within the industry, people thinking about getting into the industry, or just sober people, just like curious, like how, like I'm struggling and I'm not doing these things. And it's like the answer is yes, it does happen, and it's a very unfortunate situation. But I'm so far removed from that I'm in my own little bubble, but it's because I'm constantly talking about my sobriety. Like my clients know, potential clients or future clients or whatever, or current clients, they know like drugs is not a part of my life. I'm not gonna show up to your place, or you're gonna come here and we're gonna get high, or you're gonna think you're allowed to get high. And the same thing happens when I'm filming. Like my co-stars, like it doesn't matter how loose of our relationship is, the one thing they do know is like I'm sober, I want to be sober, and I want to stay sober. So I've been put into, I guess, uncomfortable situations maybe once or twice, and other than that, it doesn't really happen for me. But there is a very hard boundary with that, and that boundary is in my life no matter what. As a sex worker, wherever, like I'm sober, I want to be sober. You don't have to respect it, you don't have to understand it. I'm not here to teach you about it, but all you need to know is that I will remove myself from the situation, no questions asked, if I feel like my sobriety is being jeopardized.
Go for it.
Period.
I'm so happy for you. I'm
Congrats.
so proud of you.
Congrats
I'm so proud
on
of
your
you.
clean
Like,
time.
and one, you're graduating. You're about to be an accountant. Help me out next year, girl. I ain't find my taxes.
Bitch, no. I'm graduating with my associates. A girl has a long way to go. She wants to get her MBA.
It's okay, baby. One step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. I had an associate's too. I took the same math class 3 times in a row. It was such a moment to get that fucking degree. I was in tears.
Yeah.
Before you leave, I mean, you told the girls what not to do. I guess we'll save that question for last. One more question. Have you ever popped your pussy for a real nigga?
I saw this. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Lord.
It was the first question I wrote down for, and then I just moved it to question 13. But it's still here. So who's been the best?
Popping the pussy, like even when I be go-go dancing, I'm like invoking my inner like Jennifer Lopez mixed spice moment. Like I'm like, I want to be that girl.
Whenever I see you walking down, I'm not gonna say our street name because I ain't trying to have no smoke.
Death, baby.
Whenever I see you walking down the street, I'm like, look at that big boob blonde bimbo right there. She look cute.
Yes.
Thank you so much for like taking the time to like come on Just Press Play. I almost forgot the name of the show. And seeing us.
Well,
Yeah, it's been a
guys.
pleasure. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
It always
Grateful.
is.
But I think this is a really great message. Like for anybody that's watching this, like if you truly want to be a sex worker, like we live in a land where that everything and anything is possible, even with restrictions. Like it doesn't matter that somebody thinks that what you're doing is wrong. If you think what you're doing is right and you're doing it respectfully, where you're not harming anybody else, pursue your dreams. Like, screw Tabitha from Wisconsin thinking that you're going to hell. Like,
She's probably gonna end up subscribing anyways.
girl, for real.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, go get to that man.
Go to that bag,
Go get
honey.
to that man.
What man? It's a bag. Bye.
Bye. And stop.
What's up, Ray Diesel here. I'm Xavier Blanco.
And I'm with this guy right here.
You're a mess.